Yeah, we're heading back to the Super Nintendo. In 1998, Japanese gamers were treated to the next installment of the Mega Man franchise titled Rockman and Forte, or Mega Man and Bass. In it, Mega Man alongside his rival Bass temporarily teamed up to deal with a new threat in town, King. However, as you may know already, Mega Man and Bass was initially not released internationally. It wasn't until the game was ported to the Game Boy Advance in 2003 that Americans and Europeans could finally get a chance to play it. What I'm holding in my hand here is an American translated reproduction cartridge I got from the Too Many Games Expo I went to this year. This is the version I'll be looking at for the review, although I'll also give the GBA version a slight glance too, just as a heads up. According to KJ Inafune himself during an interview, Mega Man and Bass was created for gamers who couldn't experience Mega Man 8 on the PlayStation, and developed it for the system that kids would most likely own at that time of the decade, which was the Super Nintendo. As such, Mega Man and Bass in terms of graphics looks damn near identical to Mega Man 8. Lots of familiar enemies, Mega Man packing the same sprites he had in Mega Man 8, the similarities are evident. For a Super Nintendo game, this game looks and sounds great, so consider me impressed. Graphics and sound aren't everything obviously, so what exactly are we dealing with here? From the get-go, you're given the choice to play as either Mega Man, rocking the same moves he's had for quite a while now, or Bass, who can't charge his gun or slide, but hot damn, he can fire in multiple directions! Oh, he can also dash like X in Mega Man X. Oh, he can double jump too! Okay, I'm picking Bass first. A robot by the name of King has made a declaration that robots should rule supreme over humans. In addition to gathering an army of robots to start the rebellion, he kicks Dr. Wily out of his fortress and claims it as his own. Dr. Light sends Mega Man to stop King, and Dr. Wily sends Bass, most likely just to get his fortress back. The two encounter King in the Robot Museum from Mega Man 7, why is this place still here? And he sicks the Green Devil at the two while making his escape. The first boss you encounter is a fucking devil monster. Sure, it's no threat whatsoever, but let that be a sign of things to come. After completing the intro stage, you're only given a choice to fight 3 Robot Masters, Cold Man, Ground Man, and Astro Man from Mega Man 8? Huh, Tengu Man's back too. Looks like graphics and regular enemies weren't the only things recycled for this game. In every stage, you can find CDs laying on the floor for you to pick up, which contain data on characters and Robot Masters from past Mega Man games. It's nothing plot important or useful, but they are an interesting read. You need to defeat certain Robot Masters in order to gain access to the other ones, and frankly, I don't get this design choice. It's not like you can reach King's Fortress without fighting all the Robot Masters. You need to beat all of them before reaching the final area, so why limit our choices? You can visit auto shopping between stages and purchase things with the bolts that drop from defeated enemies, very similar to how they were handled in Mega Man 7. More upgrades become available with more Robot Masters defeated, and holy fuck, you're gonna need these upgrades as soon as you can possibly buy them. Thought the likes of the original Mega Man were difficult? Then you, sir, have not played Mega Man and Bass. The type of shit you'll encounter all depends on the character you selected, but this game will, I repeat, will tempt you to crack your fucking controller in two! Jesus, where to begin? Okay, the Robot Masters. Now, every Mega Man game at this point had a few Robot Masters that were relatively easy to take on with your normal weapon, you know, to get yourself going. This game pretty much only gives you one option, Cold Man, who's a cinch to take down as Mega Man, and just as easy to defeat with Bass, though in his case it takes for fucking ever because his Bass Buster only deals 1 point of damage per hit. Trying to face any other Robot Master with just your normal weapon is a goddamn death wish. These guys either hit hard, are a pain in the ass to dodge, have annoying as fuck strategies, or have a combination of any of the 3 problems I just mentioned. To compound the issue, no energy tanks. Yeah, they're once again mysteriously absent. Mega Man can later buy the likes of Eddie, who could potentially heal Mega Man for large quantities, and he can also equip some tools to buffer the damage he takes, but Bass doesn't have something like Eddie. Now don't get me wrong, Bass can get some pretty nifty upgrades like the treble boost that can really help in certain levels, but when it comes to handling bosses, you pretty much need to perfect the art of dodging. Wasted all the ammo of the robot's weakness? Well, that boss just got a whole lot harder, and guess what? If you lose a life, your checkpoint is right before the boss room with your ammo still depleted. This isn't Mega Man 8, either you get it right your first time or you're fucked. Hope you like traveling through the entire stage over again when you get a game over. Which leads us to the levels themselves. What pinhead designed these stages? Out of all the Mega Man games I've played, this one has to have the most despicable enemy placement I've ever fucking seen. Even when you take into the account of what I said earlier in other reviews that patience is the key to winning, this game just doesn't fucking stop with its ridiculous setup. Some stages just love you dealing with annoying enemies while avoiding instant death obstacles, not to mention the occasions where enemies just blindside you because of an improper view. Yeah, thanks for that cheap shot, asshole! You can usually tell when there's bullshit ahead when you find an extra life just lying around right before it, as if that's supposed to justify the dickish level design. Depending on whom you pick in the beginning, the shit you'll deal with will either come from the Robot Masters or the levels themselves. Bass can bypass a lot of shit thanks to dash jumps, the double jump in general, shooting in multiple directions, and the treble boost when he buys it. Mega Man, however, doesn't have any of that. He doesn't even have any rush adapters. Mega Man will have plenty of instances where you'll have close calls from bottomless pits, outright leaps of faith, the lack of mobility that can lead to many deaths. Mega Man is often considered to be the hard mode of this game because of it. There's this one specific area on Astro Man stage where you have to deal with disappearing blocks. I never really found the need to complain about this reoccurring obstacle in previous games because I always had another means of bypassing it. Here, you have to deal with them now, and my god, the timing on these things is fucking strict. To make matters worse, one of the starting blocks is over a pit of spikes. Why? Why do that? Shouldn't falling to the bottom of the room be punishment enough? All because they took away things that made Mega Man fun to begin with. Then there's King's Fortress. Oh my god, King's Fortress. Never before have I played a section in a Mega Man game that made me just want to put the controller down and call it a day. I play video games to escape and have fun, not to have an excuse to break a fucking monitor. The first stage in King's Fortress isn't too bad, no matter who you're playing as, but for the love of God, be careful when you're fighting the boss of this stage. As soon as it's dead, get off of that damn platform, because for some fucking reason, the developers didn't want the boss to just explode when it died, and as a result, there's a chance that you can fall into the instant death lava after the boss is dead. King Fortress 2. God. This stage is broken up into 3 segments, and as such, it takes a long ass time to complete, and if you get a game over, you gotta do the entire level over again. Bring 9 lives to this place. On top of that, we have 4 bosses to deal with in this place. Oh, Christ, I hate these assholes. Not so much King himself, because he's actually rather easy no matter who you pick, but these two, right here, this tank, Jesus, this tank, it takes an ungodly long amount of time to kill, even with its weakness. I never faced a boss before that made me frustrated as well as bored. That's so odd to me. Following him is this abomination of a boss battle. Let's run down the list. 1. You're constantly moving across platforms hovering over bottomless pits. 2. A fist attack that can destroy said platforms, leaving you pretty much fucked if you're Mega Man. 3. A flashbang attack that completely blinds you, the player, leaving you unable to see what you're doing for a second. May I remind you that you're constantly trying to avoid falling into the bottomless pits. 4. That fucking fist attack! The only way you're gonna win against this thing as Mega Man is if this thing decides not to use the damn fist attack. Death is a goddamn certainty when he uses it because Mega Man, unlike Bass, does not have a double jump. No rush jet, no super adapter, nothing. After that, the stage just keeps going. For fuck's sake, you didn't make the last 2 fortresses gauntlets and now all of a sudden you want to make them marathons again in conjunction with having the most annoying bosses in Mega Man history? What's the deal? I stated that King may not be very hard, but for God's sakes, don't get a game over when you're fighting him. Just don't. Right before the big battle, Proto Man jumps in to deal with King himself, but all he manages to do is destroy King's shield, while falling unconscious as a result of using up all of his energy. When King goes down, he questions why robots have to fight one another for the sake of humans, with either Mega Man or Bass stating that humans are the creators and should be respected. King then reveals to us that his creator is Dr. Wily. What the fuck? So Dr. Wily invented this thing, got kicked out of his own fortress because of it, only to reveal he's been in control this entire time? This story fucking blows. Anyway, King is powered up, not that it means anything because it can be taken down rather easily as both Mega Man and Bass, but when he's defeated, King stays behind in the exploding fortress not wanting to cause any more harm, but that still leaves the issue of Dr. Wily. The final stage can be a sluggish marathon to play as either Mega Man or Bass. It doesn't just have a boss rush, but it also has a ton of obstacles to travel through, and then there's the matter of dealing with Wily himself. If you're starving for either weapon energy or energy in general, you may find yourself needing to grind enemies just to stay alive for the next boss encounter, and that's just fun, isn't it? This stage really makes me wonder why they decided to scrap energy tanks once again after Mega Man 8, especially when dealing with Wily, who, again, is only difficult because you have no means of reliably healing yourself. When I'm Mega Man, Eddie may drop some big energy pickups, or he can just screw me over with these dinky little things. And if I lose to Wily anyway, well then I can't use Eddie at all during the rematch, because weapon energy doesn't refill after death, unlike Mega Man 8. Did I mention that Bass has no means of recovering energy? Well, when you can manage to do so, Wily will eventually go down, and that's pretty much the end of it. Bass questions why Wily even bothered with this asinine plan to begin with, while Mega Man wonders if King managed to get out safely. Spoiler warning, he did, but we won't ever see him again after this game, so does it really matter? Hi, who turned up the asshole level in the development process here? Mega Man and Bass feels like a step backwards in just about every way possible that doesn't involve graphics and sound. Mega Man games were always sort of challenging to begin with, but this game is hard for a lot of arbitrary reasons. The level design can be downright broken at times, the enemy placement is just plain fucking mean, and the game makes you go through so much to achieve a result that was much more satisfying to accomplish in earlier games. I don't mind when a game's hard, folks, but this isn't fun and fair hard, it's bullshit hard with a hint of luck-based progression. Making a game challenging shouldn't be the result of limiting the abilities a character could flourish in previous games. Mega Man can have an absolutely miserable time in this game because this game's design just doesn't work for him at certain intervals. Bass is definitely the character you can have the most fun with because of his added abilities, and hell, some could argue this game is really a Bass game rather than a Mega Man game. But regardless of Bass's abilities, I didn't really have much fun with this one. I'll put it out there right now, I think this is the low point in the series. That may seem rather harsh and bizarre to some, but I couldn't even begin to tell you the amount of times I just wanted to stop playing. I had my share of problems with previous games, but nothing like this. If you're looking for a hard time, play this game. By all means, give it a shot. You might see something I don't. Now, the Game Boy Advance port. I'll sum it up in 2 words. Screen crunch. And you know what that means. Bullshit parts just got a whole lot bullshittier. I honestly don't know how people can enjoy this game with such a limited view. Screen crunch just spells trouble, and it's one of the 63 reasons why I gave ports like Sonic Genesis such a hard time. If you're gonna play Mega Man and Bass, please do everything you can to play the SNES original, because this... whatever, I already spent enough time bitching. Well then, let's say we end this marathon, ladies and gentlemen. For the last video in the series, we're gonna be taking a look at...
Johnny, you didn't seriously... What the hell?
Shit, sorry Ryan, I thought you were... Never mind, what's up?
Okay, anyway, you're doing a Mega Man review and you didn't invite me?
Since when has it become a fucking law that I need to give my associates a heads up with this sort of shit?
Well, I'm gonna join you on this next review anyway, so, which ones are you on?
Mega Man 9 and 10.
Oh, God damn it, you made me wait till the end of the classic series!
Dude, I've been doing this marathon since the beginning of August. Keep up with the times, man. By the way, are you doing Mega Man and Bass for Brain Scratch commentaries?
I'm not... No, I'm not touching that game, you do it.
For fuck's sake.
Next time on Mega Man. Wait, didn't I already review all these?
Yeah, well, it's my turn now, so sit your ass down and prepare yourself for the 8-bit finale of the Mega Man Marathon. Next up is Mega Man 9 and 10.